This is Braggin's Adventures. Hey everybody, it's Andrew with Braggin's Adventures, and welcome back to Pro Tips. Before we get started, I want to ask you, if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you know when we upload new content. If you find this or any of our videos useful, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps us with the Facebook algorithm. You can also find us over on social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. At Braggin's Adventures is the username across all of those, plus here on YouTube. All right, so for our Pro Tips video this month, go ahead and go pour your cocktail. I'll wait, and then we'll get started with tips to make you a better cruiser. Oh, good, you're back. All right, let's get started. The first tip I have for you is a pretty basic one that I think we're all guilty of violating. It's don't overpack. Everybody has overpacked for their first cruise, definitely, and possibly for subsequent cruises. I'm guilty of it. I know you're guilty of it. Everybody's guilty of it, and that's okay. I'm here to help you figure out how to no longer be guilty of that, because I am proud to say I successfully did not overpack for my most recent cruise. So here's what happens, okay? So there's two things going on here. The first one is you're on your cell phone, and you're perusing the cruise website, and you're seeing that there's 3 specialty dining restaurants and a formal night, and then the buffet, and there's a mini golf course and a basketball course and a swimming pool, and you're going to Mexico where you can ride a horse and have a beach day, and then you're going to another port in Mexico where you can hike, and then you're going to another port, you're going to ride an ATV and all this stuff, right? And then the second thing that's happening is you're packing based off your security blanket. And what do I mean by that? So we have this psychological thing that happens. We have our home that we filled with all of our stuff, right? And we know it's there for us when we need it. Even when we go to work during the day, we know that at the end of the day, we can come back home and put on that old t-shirt if we really want to, right? So we have that knowledge, that security blanket that it's our stuff. But when you're on a cruise, that stuff might be thousands of miles away. So what we're doing is we are packing for every possibility on the trip, every possibility, and B, we're packing for every inevitability that we've created in our head. Okay, we're packing that security blanket. So you're grabbing that shirt. I haven't worn it in 6 years, but I might need it on this cruise, and you put it in. And you grab that 7th pair of shoes that you haven't worn in a month, but you might need them, so you put them in. And that's what's going on. You're packing your security blanket, and then you're packing for these unrealistic expectations of the cruise. Here's how to break that habit. Well, I can't do anything about the psychological thing other than tell you that you don't need that shirt you haven't worn in 6 years. You're not going to wear it on the 5-day cruise either, okay? Wear it when you get back. You're not going to wear it. Stop packing it. But as far as the packing for every possible thing you might do according to the cruise line's website, the ports you're going to, I can help you with that. And here's how I'm going to do it. So what you have to do is you have to look at the activities that are offered on board, including dining venues and their dress codes, right? Any shows, any parties like a glow party or a white night party, that kind of stuff, 80s party maybe. You have to look at what activity, like physical stuff. Is there a fitness center, a swimming pool? Is there a basketball court? That kind of stuff. So that's your first thing, right? Then you got to look at what ports you're going to and what possible activities are available at those ports. A quick and painless way to do that is just go through the cruise line shore excursion list for that port. Obviously, there's probably some other stuff to do, but that's a good baseline, right? Then you got to look at what time of year you're going and what the weather's going to be like that time of year, okay? So now you know what's going on the ship, you know what ports you're going to and what possible things you could do there, and you know what the weather's going to be like, okay? Now comes the most important part. You have to figure out, and you have to be honest with yourself on this one, what you're actually going to do. Are you going to ride a horse? Are you going to get an ATV? Are you really going to go hiking? Or are you going to do a margarita bar crawl and taco tasting? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to go to the white night party that starts at 1 a.m.? Are you going to hang out at the nightclub? Or are you going to be in bed by 9 in a food coma because you ate 7 meals that day? Right? I'm speaking from experience, guys. Okay, Once you know everything that you possibly could do, and then you're honest with yourself and you narrow it down to the things that in reality you would possibly do, now you've got a starting point. Now you can figure out what you actually need to pack, right? I am going to go to the glow party, so I'm going to pack a glow outfit. But that white night party just starts too late for me. I'm probably not going to go for it. And if I do, well, then I'll just go. You don't have to dress up for these things, guys. Am I going to get up and work out every morning? No. All right, well, then why am I packing gym clothes, right? I'm not saying that there's a difference between changing your mind and, like, you know, I might work out and then I decided not to. That's different, but you got to be honest with yourself, right? Alyssa and I strive to get up and work out every morning, so we pack workout clothes. Do we? Sometimes no, but at least a couple of days of the trip we get up and do our workout, right? We're not much for those themed parties, but if I was, this is kind of a sub pro tip, I guess. Instead of packing a whole glow night outfit, how about just a glow night hat and a couple glow sticks that take up very little room? Okay. If I'm going 80s, do I need the full get up? No, but maybe a t-shirt, a cool 80s t-shirt would be cool, right? You can save space that way. Shoes is another place I feel like people overpack a lot. You got your flip-flops, and then your hiking boots, and then your daytime walking shoes, and then your evening shoes. It's a lot of shoes, okay? So I'm a guy saying that. I'm guilty of it too, because I do. I pack my flip-flops, and then you got to pack your dress shoes for formal night. Then you got to have your tennis shoes, and then you got to have your hiking shoes. But what I started doing was skipping the tennis shoes. I wear the hiking shoes. And then for formal night, maybe not bulky dress shoes, but maybe just a nice sensible flat, right? And then as far as flip-flops goes, am I going to wear them? Am I going to go to the pool? In reality, on this cruise, am I going to the pool? Maybe. Probably not, though. Especially if you're like cruising Alaska. Are you going to go in the pool? Are you going to be walking around Alaska in flip-flops? Probably not. How about that heavy coat that you packed? You're going to Mexico in June. Do you need the heavy coat? Probably not. So overpacking is an entirely mental thing, and you just have to get past it. You have to be honest with yourself about what you're going to do and what you're going to need in order to accomplish that. It's hard. It's going to take you a few cruises to get there, but you will. I promise. All right, we're going to get to what I'm calling the common courtesy / common sense. Let's touch base on common sense real quick. Back when I used to work at Disney, back in the 90s, we used to say, cast members used to say, that the guests check their brain at the ticket gate, right? Meaning that they had the forethought to get there, but once they cross through that turnstile, their brain goes out the door, and we're now taking care of them, for lack of a better word. They're not capable of doing common sense stuff. Over the years, that's changed. So it went from checking their brain at the gate to checking their brain at the parking lot, and then it eventually became they left their brain at home, right? And I think that applies to cruising too. It seems that a few things that should be common sense and common courtesy, just once you're on board a cruise, are gone. And I'm trying to figure out why. Because they drove to the port, so they had to have some kind of brain, right? So that's what this section's going to be about. There's some obvious ones like don't hog the deck chairs. In fact, that's a rule on cruise lines. You are not allowed to pre-reserve deck chairs by waking up early and going and claiming it with your towel and your book and whatever else, and then leaving to go back to bed or to shower or go grab breakfast. You can only reserve the deck chair if you were actively using the deck, okay? Another common sense thing is if you arrive to the theater late, and this applies to theaters on land too, you don't get to take that center front seat. Okay, you don't get to disturb everybody else's viewing experience, especially the 20 people that you had to cross to get to your middle seat there in the middle of the orchestra section. If you come late to a show, you sit in the back. Then you don't disturb anybody, okay? Listen, the theaters aren't that big on cruise ships, okay? There's plenty, you can see the show from anywhere. You don't have to have that front middle seat. The reverse side of that is if you're saving a seat for someone. You don't get to do that. Your whole party needs to come, and they need to arrive on time. It's just common courtesy, and it's common sense for sure. The next one is situational awareness. You have to have situational awareness when you're on a cruise ship, and this especially applies in the Lido buffet. And here's why. Here's what I'm talking about. So situational awareness, it's twofold. The first one is like when you're getting your stuff at the buffet and you're loading that plate up, for some reason, a lot of people, I'm not saying everyone, so if you don't do this, this isn't about you. A lot of people will finish filling their plate and they back up into the flow of people. They just back up. You have to turn around and look where you're going and make sure it's clear. I can't tell you how many people run into me, almost caused me to drop my plate, or I've had to jump out of the way. Situational awareness. The other half of that is if you're a slow walker and you know you're slow, get over to the right. You gotta feel me 6 inches behind you. You really have to. See, cars make it easy on the freeway because both of these things do apply on the road as well. The first part, backing up from the buffet, would be like you backing out of a driveway without looking both ways first. The situational awareness for feeling me behind you is if you were inappropriately in the fast lane doing 40 miles under the speed limit, you're gonna see me in your rear view coming up, okay? Situational awareness, you should be able to feel and sense that. If you know you're going slow, walk over to the right. Occasionally glance over your shoulder to see if anybody's behind you. Common sense. All right, while we're still in the buffet, you have to get in line in the buffet. This is going to make you a better cruiser. If you're not the person that goes, I just need one scoop of the mac and cheese, I'm going to cut him right here, and there's 40 people waiting in line for that same mac and cheese. Even if you just forgot one thing or you only need one thing, you still got to get in the line. I'm sorry, you just have to. I promise, these things are going to make you a better cruiser. Let's get out of the buffet for a minute and let's go up. I'm going to talk about the jogging tracks. A jogging track on a cruise ship or anywhere else on the planet has a specific direction of travel, and that direction is counterclockwise. Always is. That's an unspoken rule. And people that regularly use tracks know this. It's counterclockwise. You never travel clockwise. The inside, the center of the track should always be on your left, okay? Never ever on your right. If it's on your right, you're doing something wrong. So on cruise lines, like I was just on the Panorama for Carnival, they actually have arrows on the ground telling you to go that way and signs that say go that way, and yet you still have people going clockwise. Why is that not okay? Well, here's why. Because if I'm using the track for its intended purpose of jogging or walking, and you're coming towards me, I either have to move out of your way or stop or slow down or something. You are interrupting the flow of traffic. It would be like driving down the wrong side of a road. I feel like these car metaphors are going to work. The other thing, this goes back to that whole walking through the Lido deck slow. If you are walking on the track, you should be walking to the right. If you're jogging or running, to the left. And even when I'm jogging and running, I still get over to the right until I have to pass someone that's walking, and then I get back because I'm not the fastest person. There's always going to be somebody faster. So the polite thing to do, whether you're driving a car, walking Lido deck, or on the jogging track, is if you are slower, you stay to the right. Plain and simple. All right, we're going to move down a few decks now. We're going to get down into where the staterooms are located, okay? And the next couple are going to have to do with that. So the first one is don't have conversations in the middle of walkways, okay? There's nothing you need to talk about in the middle of a walkway. You don't even have to be in a circle to talk to people. I don't know if you're aware of that. My wife and I have conversations all the time when we're not even looking at each other, okay? You can be single file, have a conversation. Works really well. You can be off to the side and have a conversation. Works really well. Don't have conversations right in the middle of the walkway. That's rude. Likewise, don't have loud conversations in the hallways where the staterooms are, okay? And I'm going to say this is, most people will probably say, between the hours of like 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. But here's the problem. There are people that go to bed earlier than 10. There's people that sleep in later than 8. If you're in a corridor with staterooms, just lower your voice down low. You don't have to be that loud. You just don't. I was awoken at 3 a.m. by people, I assume, returning from the nightclub drunk, being the loudest I've ever heard anybody be. Don't do it. That's common courtesy, right? Come on. While we are down on these decks here, don't let your balcony door slam. Listen, I get it. This is your first cruise. You've never had a balcony room maybe before. This is your first balcony room, right? And you didn't know that door is heavy and it's gonna auto shut really loudly. When it happens once, if I'm in my room and I hear your door slam first time, You didn't know. That was an accident. The second time, I'm even gonna let that one go because it slipped out of your hand. They're heavy doors, I get it. But when it happens consistently, that's you making a choice to be rude to your neighbors. Don't do it, guys, please. Are we clear on that? Don't let your balcony door slam. This gets talked about all the time in the Facebook groups, and it's just like, at some point, we have to get it, right? The last step in the common courtesy section, and this is going to be the start of the hot takes section of this video. Before I get to it and literally the rest of this, if you find any of the tips I'm about to get to offensive, that's okay. If you want to chat about it in the comments below, I'm happy to do that with you, as long as you keep it respectful. I really am just trying to make you a better cruiser, and the following tips absolutely apply, whether you personally think they do or not. Disclaimer over. All right. Don't wear shirts with inappropriate sayings on them. You are on a cruise ship. You're not out in public. The cruise line has rules and regulations, and it's a confined space. Even a large cruise ship is still a confined space that everybody on there paid to be on, and they can't leave easily. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you why this is on the list. I'm just gonna put it out there. Obviously, I will censor because it's a family-friendly channel. But on my most recent cruise, I saw somebody that had an F Biden shirt on, and that's fine if that's what you believe. We don't do the politics thing on the Braggins Adventures channel. If those comments end up down below, they're going to get axed. It's fine if you believe that, if that's what you choose to believe. And when you are out in public, you can wear whatever you want. I honestly don't care. I really don't pay that much attention even when you're on the cruise ship to what you're wearing. But this one stood out to me because it's a cruise ship. There are families there. There's children, there's seniors. There's obviously going to be people with the opposite belief of you. Just don't wear shirts with swear words or naked people or drug use. It's also a cruise line rule. They're not going to necessarily enforce it unless somebody goes and complains about it, but people are going to complain about something like that. It also just changes the mood of the cruise. When I'm on a cruise, I'm in cruise mode, right? And then when I see something like that, it pulls me away from cruise mode and puts me back into reality. You got parents that got to explain to their kids now what that means. It makes for a bad time. Don't do it. Please just stop doing it. All right. The next batch is going to be for those parents out there. I'm not talking to every parent. If you're a good parent that is already being a great parent to your children, please carry on. If one of these might apply to you, maybe just let's try to improve, right? This next section is here because of my most recent cruise. Literally every one of the ones I'm about to give you happened on my January cruise, okay? The first one. Don't take your kids to the restaurants on board if they can't sit down and behave themselves. I have two children. You've met them. They've been on this channel many times. They're both adults now, but when they were kids, they still sat and behaved themselves in restaurants. If your kids can't do that because they haven't been raised to do that, take food back to them in the stateroom, or send them to the kids club, or up on Lido deck, maybe outside in Lido deck. But if your kid is going to be running around the restaurant, it's not okay. That's the first one, and that's the lightest one I feel like that I'm going to give right now. Up next is please put shoes on your kid when they are going to the restaurant. I don't want to see your kid running around barefoot. I don't want them up on the chair with their feet up dangling over, or just right there in my face, okay? Yes, this happened on the most recent cruise. Put shoes on them. You should be dressed appropriately to go into a restaurant, and that goes for your kids too, because I guarantee you that if I was to be barefoot in the restaurant with my feet up where they were visible, everyone in the restaurant would lose their lunch and complain because my feet are ugly. Guess what? Your kids' feet are ugly too. I said what I said. All right. Don't allow, I can't believe I have to say this. Don't allow your child to sit or climb on the table in the restaurant. Someone's going to eat there after you. Someone ate there before you. Someone's eating at the table right next to you. Your child should be in the seat. There is no reason ever that your child's any body parts other than their hands should be on a dining table. This is not your house. Stop treating it that way. please, I'm begging you, and especially with the bare feet, stop letting your kids climb on tables. The last one's going to be probably the most controversial of these parenting ones. And I'm saying it, I feel terrible about saying it, but I'm saying it anyway because I think it needs to be said. Don't take your kids to the Broadway-style musical review shows on the cruise ship. Here's why. They're too overstimulating. The flashing, constant lights and the very loud music, it's too much. And like the playlist productions on Carnival have lasers and drones and smoke. It's too much for small kids to handle. And honestly, most kids don't like those kind of shows. It's not their music, okay? They're not enjoying us listening to the hits of the 70s, okay? The flashiness it's too much for them. They don't like those shows. If you want to go see the show, that's why the kids clubs on Carnival Cruise or on cruise lines exist. B, maybe work out with a travel partner. Maybe you go see the show one night and they watch the kids, and then they see it another night and you watch the kids. Or find entertainment that the whole family can enjoy together. There's family or friendly shows on board the cruise ships. Here's what happened. Okay, there was a very young child that obviously did not want to be there. And because it was overstimulating, I'm speaking as a parent and a person with 3 brain cells, it's overstimulating and they didn't want to be there. And rather than take the child out, they first tried to just tolerate it. So all the rest of us had to listen to the screaming child while trying to enjoy the show that the cast and crew had put so much work into. And then when they finally did get up and get the child, had this sense of relief and they walked out, they were gone for maybe a minute and a half, and then they came back, crossed in front of 20 people to get back to their seat with their screaming kid who's still screaming. Like somehow that minute and a half helped. They're still screaming. And they did that, and I'm not exaggerating, guys. I actually filmed most of the show, so I have footage of them going back and forth. They took their child out 7 times and brought them right back. 7 times. Guys, I want you to enjoy theater. Okay, I have a theatrical background. I want you to enjoy theater, but you have got to realize, in order to be a better cruiser, you have to respect the other people's enjoyment of that theater. And if that means, unfortunately, that you don't get to see this particular show on this particular cruise, that's what that means. It does. It sucks. It does. It really does. But if you really, truly want to be a better cruiser, these are some of the things that we have to start doing so that we can enhance the experience for everybody. My last pro tip, okay? This is the most important one. Thank you for sticking around, but this is the one that everybody watching needs to pay attention to. Take a sip. You're going to need it. Stop pronouncing it Fieri. His name is Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri. Okay? It's pronounced Fieri, not Fieri. All right, guys. That last one was, well, it's accurate, but it was just a little bit of joke to lighten the mood. Hey, I hope you enjoy these pro tips videos. I enjoy making them. I think there's valuable information here. Let me know what you want to see in future pro tips videos below. Likewise, let me know if you have a pro tip I missed for how people can be better cruisers. Last month's video was cruise essentials for packing, and those were things that I find necessary to pack on a cruise. And then obviously we've got this month's how to be a better cruiser. Next month, I'm going to be bringing you how to have a better travel experience. Okay, so like it kind of goes along with this one, but it's going to encompass a wider range of subjects. Because it's going to sound really weird to say, but some people travel wrong. I've done it. I've traveled wrong. I hope you're enjoying the series. I hope you'll come back next month to check this one out. In the meantime, while you're waiting for that video, let me tell you what's coming up between now and then. We've got a bunch of Disney content for you. We've got a bunch of brewery reviews for you coming out. I've got a couple of hotel reviews coming out for you. Lots of stuff coming this month, and then we're also going to produce on the quick. Okay, this isn't a scheduled video. I've got a Ren Fair video coming out for you. We're going to go not opening weekend, because we're out of town on a cruise. But we're gonna go the very next weekend, and I'm gonna film for you, and then I'm gonna put that video out that Monday, okay, and get that one out for you guys. We have just a slew of stuff coming the rest of the year too. I've got some NCL stuff, some Carnival stuff, Vegas stuff, San Francisco stuff, and then more Disney content. So lots of things coming out for you. We hope you like our channel. We thank you so much. And again, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, because we are giving out an Amazon gift card at the end of the year if we hit 1,000 subscribers. We are halfway there. We thank everybody that subscribed so far. Share it with your friends, have them subscribe, because the only way that contest happens is if we hit, 750 subscribers is the $100 gift card. If we hit 1,000, we're going to up the prizes so more people can win. There's details in the description below about that contest, but all you gotta do is be a subscriber. So if you haven't yet, click it. Chat with us over on social media as well as in the comments below. I thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure. Bye.